Hello, everybody. Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to the Finding Your Flow Masterclass. As we welcome everyone and we kind of bring everyone together, today is Monday. I initially planned to do this masterclass yesterday, right? And then I realized because the time change and all the things, I said, wait a second, everybody and their mama is going to be watching, waiting on the Usher concerts. They said there was some football going on in the midst of that too, but definitely we were there for Usher, even though he's not my guy. He's like one of my favorite entertainers. And so I did not want to miss out on that. I know all of you felt the exact same way. And so today, instead, we are here to tap into some very necessary and essential pillars that help us to build our goals and move in the right direction. Okay. Hey, everyone. How's everybody doing? I have been mulling over doing this masterclass again since we did it the last time. It was a couple months ago when I taught it before. And I think that every single time I teach a class, even if the points are similar, it's always different because I, as a person, grow every time in between these moments. Okay. I have had the honor of coaching some really amazing women over the last 6 weeks thus far in our mastermind. And even now, since that time, I'm a different woman, a different leader, a different coach. Okay. And so today, I just want to take a little while and highlight some really amazing pillars, some principles that we have instituted into the Momathon community over the last several years that are going to help you out. They're going to hook you up. Y'all hear me? They're going to hook you up. All right. So here's what I want to ask all of you to do. First of all, so that I can see all of your comments, do me a favor and go to the Momathon Diaries Facebook page if you can. All right. If you're watching from my personal page, if you're watching from, I think I can see the group comments pretty well. But if you're watching from maybe my personal feed or something like that, do me a favor while we are warming the room up. Hop over to the Momathon Diaries Facebook page so I can see all of your comments. Y'all's keying so we can see all the things that we need to see in order to get us popping today. All right. Okay. Hey, everyone. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Hey, ladies. Good morning. All right. So, today the principle, the real causation behind what we're going to be centered on is going to be showing up in the ways that we know we need to. Hey, Janisha. It is going to be centered on driving, pushing, moving forward to the next thing, but doing it with a firm foundation. Doing it with a firm foundation, because many times we're working on stuff, but it's not always the firm foundation that we want it to be. Or you have these amazing goals, this audaciousness that's coming out of you, and you're trying to figure out, how do I organize it all well? How do I do it so that I don't feel overwhelmed? Okay. And so today, that's going to be the very principle, the foundational key behind what we're going to be going into today, helping you to organize it so that you're not feeling like you're trying to catch yourself. Am I coming? Am I going? Like, what's happening really? Okay, what's happening really? I never want you guys, if you're a part of this community, for you to feel like you're trying to find your way. Okay, for you to feel like you're trying to figure it out, you're trying to crack the code. It doesn't have to be that way. And a lot of times we're wandering, but it's like we're wandering in the dark. Okay. And if you're a part of this community here, I don't want that for us. I want you guys to make sure that you're getting exactly what you need so you can become the woman that you said you were going to become. All right. I'm going to set the agenda for a little bit so that we know exactly what to expect while we're here. Okay. So we're going to be here chatting for probably about an hour. Go grab your notebook, go grab your journal, grab something that you can jot some notes down in, because I'm going to give you some questions that you need to ask yourself, some principles you need to be asking yourself so that you can actually find your flow. Okay, so you can find the way that is serving you best. You can find a new hack. You can find a new process that helps you to organize all of it, especially if you're going to try and take better care of yourself this year, especially if you're going to try and take better care of your family, be more present with your family this year, especially if you want to create some space in your world for bigger ideas. If you're going to do all these things and be this person, you're going to have to crack the code. You're going to have to find the flow. You're going to have to do it better. Okay. So I'm going to give you all today 5 questions. Okay. Or 5 principles, 5 things you need to find in order to hit your goals in half the time. Okay. All right, everybody, talk back to me. Like, sometimes we feel like things are taking too long. Wave at me if you've been experiencing that. Like, you feel like things are just taking longer than I want them to take. Yeah. Have you ever hit that mode in your life where you said, I feel like it should be moving faster and it isn't? And it isn't moving as fast as I want. Okay. So we're going to work through that for a little while today. For those of you who are watching on Instagram or LinkedIn, or maybe you haven't had the chance to join me live before, I am Christina Garrett. I am honored to be a pastor's wife and a homeschooling mom of 5 incredible but very loud children. Okay. Ages 5, 8, 13, and almost 16 in a couple of weeks. I have been homeschooling my kids for over 10 years now, ever since my youngest son was going into kindergarten. We have been a homeschooling family. We did not start because of the pandemic. We've been in this thing for a minute. And I also feel very honored to be a productivity coach for superstar working mothers. Okay. Those women who have big dreams, they have audacious goals, and maybe, just maybe, they're trying to figure out how to create space for all of it in their lives. The majority of my clients are coaches, they're consultants, they're speakers, they are business builders, they are community leaders. I have several therapists, mental health workers who are in our community as clients, nonprofit founders. I have some political leaders in here, an actress that sprinkles in every now and then. So I have been honored to really work with some remarkable women on big stages. Right? They're really great women. They're on big stages, but sometimes behind the scenes, right? Sometimes behind the scenes, things are a little chaotic. And maybe, just maybe, you don't tell everybody how chaotic things can actually be. Maybe, just maybe, we don't communicate that in the same way. You know what? This hasn't been working for me. You know what? I've been struggling to accomplish this. Okay. You know what? I've been trying to sort through some changes in my relationship, some changes in my marriage, some changes in my family. I've been trying to figure out how to do all of these things. Okay. And most of us, when this happens, we don't tell a lot of people because most people aren't in our situation. Maybe you grew up in a family where marriage wasn't a priority. Maybe you grew up in a family where they didn't know how to lovingly and in a nurturing fashion be present for their children. And this is what you're trying to create now. And no one's done it for real before. Okay. And so they usually come to me because they have these really big goals and they're trying to figure out, how do I do it without maxing out? So that's what we do here in the Momathon community. We're going to talk more about the pillars that we do in Momathon later on as part of the class. But I just want you all to see that for the last twins are 13. So for the last 12 years, this has been my work, has been learning, observing, studying ambitious moms, working moms, moms who are doing a lot. They have a very multi-layered life. Okay. I only coach mothers, which, some people are life coaches and they do all kinds of things. I only coach moms. This is my bread and butter. And the reason why I say I have the best job is because you all have this different layer of life. Like, you guys have so much going on in your world. Y'all are just the best of coach. I have a client, we've been working together. We're going into our second set of 6 months of coaching. Every single week, we have something different and new, a new perspective to coach on. Because when you're a mom, when you're a wife, when you're a leader, when you're building a business, when you're practicing your own self-care, your own wellness, sis, you got a lot happening. And for me, that is the most fun to untangle, to help us to create a strategy that takes all the moving pieces like Iron Man. We kind of get to the coaching call and we're like Iron Man and we start moving and bringing all the pieces together into this until it creates something really magical. and really exciting. Okay. So that's my job. That's what I get to do, is to help them to get out of their own head and to get over their perfectionism and procrastination. And some of us have some people pleasing issues, all of those things. We move around that stuff because we just don't have time to linger in those places. Okay. I am a firm believer, in addition to all of this, that there are some intangibles that we as women don't talk about. Okay. Send this to your friends, to your business besties, to your girlfriends, because I believe, and I've seen over the course of time, having worked with thousands of moms, y'all hear me? Thousands of moms our community has facilitated for. And I have seen firsthand, I know what I know, that there are these intangible things, these things that we can't really touch, but we just feel inside. We can just feel inside. There's a whole lot of in between that we don't talk about. Now, when Momathon started, it was literally unheard of. Like, people shamed me for being for feeling like I needed to run away sometimes. I had 3 toddlers, 3 and under, including a set of twins. They would cry in surround sound. I was this close from, like, just lock me up, it'll be like a vacation. That's how I was. Okay. I was like, listen, anybody been there? If you just send me somewhere else, it'll be a vacation. I can sleep. Okay. That will be the vacation. I don't even need to see sand. Put me in somebody's bed. Okay. That was where I was at that time. There was nobody out there talking about this kind of stuff. In fact, they told you, if you want to run away from your children, shame on you. You want a break? Moms don't do breaks. This was 13 years ago. This was before self-care, wellness, therapy became a fad, became like a trending word. Now it's everywhere because we're identifying all these new things. But a decade ago, you want to see a therapist, you need meds because you got depression, unheard of. Okay. So I had to learn how to create my own flow. I had to learn how to do some troubleshooting and learn how to communicate better in order to create my own flow. So I coach on the intangibles, these invisible things that are happening to all of us. I'm talking about, I've coached women on most of the continents, from the motherland, Australia, Canada, the islands. Okay. And we all talk about the same thing. If you're a family woman, you're ambitious, you're a wife and a mom, you're growing some big ideas, we all have these same things that come up. Okay. So I coach on the intangibles, these little invisible nuances that happen to us as we grow. As we change directions, this is what comes up. Okay. So 10 years ago, I started the process. I started with a blog. Okay. And then the blog grew from the blog to a Facebook page, from a Facebook page to a community. I went viral on accident, millions of views. All of a sudden, my family was everywhere on Fox News and everything. And all of a sudden, I had women coming from everywhere asking me, how do I learn how to love my season 2? How do I learn how to transform my family? How do I learn how to get out of my own head and move forward? Okay. And so from that time, Momathon has transformed into an international coaching and consulting company. I've done work for Hyatt Hotels multiple times, the Housing Authority, multiple universities around the country, and been featured in Yahoo Parents, Red Table Talk, Fox News, Sweet July, CNN. There's some more floating around, and Essence Magazine 6 times in the last year and a half. That is like my bread and butter. Okay. So as we move forward, I want you guys to know that there's fruit that comes from you finding your way, finding your flow, undoing, putting the key in the lock and opening that door. There's some really good stuff on the other side of it. But if you're not willing to, I'm not going to say if you're not willing, because you're here, you are willing to organize. Because you're here, you are willing to do the work. You're willing to learn. Okay. And as long as you guys are here to learn, I'll be here to teach. Okay. I want us to walk away with oh, wow, I didn't realize that this is where I was. Now that I know that, I can choose whatever my next step will be. Okay. So during our time together, I'm going to give you 5 things you need to find. You get to process this and journal this on your own time, okay? And then after the masterclass is over, should you want to stick around for a little bit, I'll be happy to share about what we have coming up. And if there are ways that you want additional support, I'm happy to give that to you too, okay? All right, y'all ready to go? Yeah, you are? Okay, all right. Find your flow. Number 1, okay? Number 1, find your self-awareness. Find your self-awareness, okay? For most of us, we are walking into a new stage, and it is more important than ever that you actually know yourself, that you actually know who you are, where you're going, what you want to accomplish, okay? I have seen across the board for many of us how unself-aware we are, down to our emotions, down to our overwhelm, and down to our physical symptoms that show up in our bodies. Okay. For example, one day I was reading a book. I don't have the book back here with me. We might do a study on it again in the springtime as I have space for it. But it's called Take the Day Off by Robert Morris. And in the book, Take the Day Off, he talks about symptoms of emotional overwhelm and emotional exhaustion. Okay. He talks about some of the ones I'm going to mention here. But then after that, I asked you guys, what are your symptoms of emotional exhaustion? What are your symptoms of emotional exhaustion? How do you know when you've had enough? How do you know when you need a timeout? How do you know what is your body saying to you in a time, in a season where you're really trying to figure things out? Okay. So self-awareness goes to another level. I know myself. I know what it's like when I need to take a timeout. Hey, y'all. I know what it's like when I need to put myself in the bed. I know what it's like when I need to, just go lay down. Like the songs, I need to go lay down. I need to go do that because I feel like cussing out children. That's a bad look for a mom who loves the Lord and loves her kids. You can't be cussing out toddlers. Go take a nap. Okay. Some of us aren't self-aware enough. We don't know ourselves well enough to identify what's not working. And so when I asked you guys, what does lack of self-awareness look like for you? What does emotional exhaustion look like for you all as moms? This is what you told me. You all said that emotional exhaustion, overwhelm looks like this: fatigue, feeling like you're dragging all the time, can't get enough coffee. You need all the help, all the Red Bulls, all the stuff to stay awake, to keep yourself going. You're exhausted all the time, feel like you're dragging. You all said it feels like tightness in your body. Where your spirit says, I feel fine. I'm fine. I said I'm fine, y'all. But all in here, all this area in here feels like it's all tight. You're doing like this. You're shrugging your shoulders. You're always moving around trying to loosen something up, right? Because in your body is saying you're overwhelmed, even if your mouth is saying something else. Or your cognition internally isn't saying it, your body is recognizing some subconscious tension that you're carrying from one place to another, okay? One of my very bold ladies said that when she is overwhelmed, she does overspending and overeating. Overspend, you buying too much stuff. Why are you buying more stuff? Why you need that? Why are you eating that? You're not hungry. Overspending, overeating. Someone else said emotional repression. I don't even show my feelings like I could. I just stuff them down inside into this little box, right? I just stuff them down because I don't have time to deal with that feeling right now. Somebody else said decrease fulfillment. What I love to do, I don't love it anymore. I used to love this. What happened? Where's my joy? You might just be exhausted. And yet someone else said they have a short temper with the people they love. Where most of the time, the people that get the brunt of our psycho mom tyrant energy, most of the people that get that, we're too embarrassed to show that out in the street. So we show it to the people that we say we love the most, in fact. Instead of us dealing with these things in a healthier way, maybe we need to hit the gym, we need to start taking kickboxing, whatever those things are, to deal with those unhealthy emotions. Instead, you take your anger, you take your lack of response, you take your apathetic nature, you take your frustration, and you release it, you spew it on the people you live with. And lastly, they said some people feel like they are detached, like they're all alone in the world. It's me. I'm the only person that's dealing with this. I'm the only person who feels like their life is broken. Like everything is on fire. I'm just jumping from solving one problem to another all the time. It's just me. I have moms come to discovery calls all the time. Y'all hear me? And they just give me all this stuff. They come out, they just unload it. Here, these all the things. And then they tell me these words. All of y'all do this. They're like, I know this is a lot. I'm sorry, this is so much. And I lovingly tell y'all, if you were the only person who felt like this, I wouldn't have a job. As a matter of fact, I leaned into one of our, to speak to one of our guests at the conference last year. I said, you see all 100 of these women that are here? I said, everybody has the same problem you have. Trying to figure it out, trying to do it with kids, trying to be happy, trying to love your work, trying to have energy, everybody's doing the same thing. So as we're on a mission today to find our flow, part of this is finding our self-awareness. What's your body telling you? What's your energy telling you? And are you listening? Are you paying attention? So during your quiet time, one of the things you can analyze is, what is my body telling me today? That's something you can journal on daily. What's your body telling me today? Today is telling me I need to go to bed early. Today is telling me, I need a workout. Girl, this right here, what's it doing, girl? Am I dehydrated? Is my skin a little dry? What's going on? Do the checks, okay? Number 2, find your flow. Number 2 is find your own definition of success. Send this to your ambitious friends, okay? Find your own definition of success. It was the great, I ain't gonna call him a theologian, the great, the phenomenal Jay-Z, who said this quote. He said, I have too much confidence. I have so much confidence that I will never let anyone speed up my progress. I won't let anyone speed up my progress. Now, here's what I'm going to tell us that we do. We begin to pull our definition of success from other people's stuff. From other people's stuff. You want to know how I know? Because all of a sudden there were these quote unquote business funding professionals that pop up everywhere on social media now. Okay. And guess what they tell you? Girl, it's so easy for you to get a car and just get it through your business. All you need is an LLC. It's so easy for you to get business funding. Just go to Navy Federal and they'll give you the green. They give you $30,000 with nothing. And all these clowns walked into the Navy Federal. Navy Federal was like, you need to be a client for a year. They didn't tell them that part on the real. They might have told them that in the Masterclass that they were supposed to buy, right? We start pulling, I need a G-Wagon. No, you don't. You don't need no G-Wagon. You're making $1,000 a month in your business. Stop it. You don't need that. But somewhere inside, we started to look out and see other people's definitions of success and felt like it was supposed to be ours and felt like that was what we were supposed to be doing. Flag on the play. Hold up. Wait a minute. Y'all saw these other husbands. Maybe this husband works from home. All he's showing you is him cleaning up his whole entire house. You looking at your husband like, why you don't clean up the whole entire house? Baby, I got to leave the house to go to work. I don't even be here 12 hours out of the day. You're comparing the success of your marriage to the Instagram husband. You're comparing the success of your children. I'm in the homeschool community. So we have these homeschool brilliant children who go to college at 12. Here, your kid is 12, still playing with Barbies or licking the floor. You thinking something's broken. There's nothing wrong with your kid. They're just being a kid. What's the rush? And so what we have done is we've gone out and grabbed somebody else's definition of success and pulled it and tried to make it ours. There's a thing floating around. Hey, Jordan, I love you. I was thinking of you this morning. We have the thought about the whole 7 streams of income thing. Y'all know I'm about to talk about somebody's edges. 7 streams of income, right? In order for you to be successful, you got to have 7 streams. It has to happen, right? Only for some of us, we say, okay, let me go get the first one. I don't know. I had this close by, whatever cream this is. Pick some kind of skincare cream. You're selling Avon, okay? We start with the Avon. Avon is not giving as fast as we wanted to give. So now we have Avon, and we're going to start selling insurance too. Then, of course, people are talking about being an e-commerce. Products is the way to go. So now you sell Avon, you have an insurance business, and now you want to go over here and start a candle making business. Flag on the play. Before you know it, you have 4 or 5 different businesses all underneath your name, multiple streams, and none of them are successful to the level that you want them to be. And most likely it's because you are so spread out all over the place. Baby, I love y'all, but we don't have enough consistency, enough focus to stay leaned into one specific area. We're spread out so far all over the place, okay? So as you're analyzing, have I worked on this one thing through to completion, or am I taking somebody else's definition of success? Am I taking what someone else's family is doing, what someone else's kids are doing, what someone else's husband is doing, what someone else's business is doing, and trying to make it mine? Not a source of inspiration. Not like, oh, I'm inspired by this. Now I want to go and do that too. Wait a minute. Wait a second. We got to slow our roll. Okay. My goal for my family is to be peaceful, is to have peace in my house. That we love each other, we enjoy each other, that we wake up and we have time in the morning to sit and drink coffee and breathe, and we're not always rushing to the next thing. That's my goal as a family, to have that very tangible feeling in my home. Everything else is icing on the cake. Okay? So as you're thinking about your definition of success, what does your family need? I have some clients, they come and they're like, well, I need to make, I'm going to throw something out, $250,000 a year. This is how much I need to make. $100,000 a year. Nothing wrong with those ambitions. They're wonderful. Okay. And I say, okay, that's great. Well, what's your freedom number? Like, what's the number you actually need every month to live? And like, oh, well, I need about $3,500 a month to live. Okay. All right, no problem. So your husband alone takes care of this particular amount. Okay, your husband alone takes care of that part. And now you are up all night, hustling, trying to make it work, trying to match it, exceed it, do all of these things because you grabbed onto somebody else's definition of success. You could even grab onto somebody else's monetary number. And that's not your number. That's not your number. That's not your goal. You just decided once you saw that person's goal, your goal was no longer sufficient. We're going to stop it today. We're going to drop it off today, right? We're going to say, you know what? I'm deciding today to create my own definition of success. I'm not going to take yours and assume that it has to be mine. Okay? 7 streams of income is wonderful. All this extra stuff, hey y'all, all this extra stuff is wonderful. But at a certain point, I just want to be able to make sure these are the things that matter. All this extra overage is great. Okay. But can I learn to lean into what I said was most important, not what everybody else is saying is most important? Okay. So, number one, find your self awareness, know your body, right? Know your mind, know your spirit. Do you need to go sit down with a therapist? Do you need to sit down and have more girlfriend time? What is it that you need to do in order to make this work? Okay. Number two, find your own definition of success. It's okay to be inspired by someone. I talked about that this morning about Beyonce, right? Because a bunch of people are like, oh yeah, I'm about to get my marketing game like Beyonce. Why? Y'all don't have her time. You don't have her resources. I'm not trying to keep up with no Beyonce. She talked about she left her family for weeks. Flag on the play. I'm not leaving my husband for more than a couple nights. Okay, let's just get that together. I'm going home at night. We going to the hotel together. We traveling together. This is what we doing. Okay. All this extra stuff, we leaving it out. Flag on the play. Okay. Number three, find your delegating superpowers. Okay. Find your delegating superpowers. Some of us have been the primary problem solvers in our families for years. Some of us have been the one that put out fires for years. Some of us love micromanaging. You have the gift of administration. You love hovering over people and making sure that you do it the way it should be done. Christina said, I need to find my own definition of success. Me wanting things this way is part of that. Is that what I said? When we're finding definitions of success, it's the bigger thing. It's the bigger picture. It is not you hovering over every single detail in your home, in your family, so that you're the one that puts out all the fires. Hey, Marita. So that you're the one that does all the things. So if you have fallen into the trap of being someone who's like, I got it, I'll do it, I'll be the one, we often end up seeing ourselves become burned out, frustrated, anxious because we choose to be this way. No one's eulogy. Life is short. Nobody's eulogy is going to consist of like, wow, her laundry was always perfect. Nobody's funeral is going to celebrate, sis, those closets on point. No one is going to celebrate. Wow, she really was like, she did everything in her business. Oh my goodness, so great. When you come to the Momathon conference, okay, which is coming up, if you ain't on the email list, get there. I always celebrate my event coordinator, right? Teresa, because it's like without her, she's so magical. She helps me to do all these things. And then she comes into the venue a day early and she tells everybody where things need to be and do that. And no, put it over here. And this should be like all that stuff while I'm off flittering around like a little bird, hugging y'all, saying hello. She's behind the scenes putting out fires. That's because I'm happy to delegate to her those responsibilities and pay her invoice. Y'all hearing me? Even in my home, I take guilt away from delegating. Baby, y'all know I work a long day Fridays. Could somebody help out with this? Last night, my daughter's 13. She said, Mama, I had pulled out a whole chicken for dinner. She said, Mommy, I want to make the whole chicken. I said, okay, listen, let me not argue with you, sis. Let's let you get that practice in. And she seasoned the whole chicken. She put vegetables under the skin. It was a vibe. It was all tender. I was like, go ahead, girl. She's 13. In what ways do I need to release the reins? Hi, Lude. In what ways do I need to let go a little bit? And what ways do I need to say, you know what, you do got it. Let me not get in your way. It might not be done the way I think it should be done, but it's going to get finished. It's going to be accomplished. Mission accomplished. Did we eat? Yep. Was the food good? Yep. When it's not good, pour some sauce on top of it. Problem solved. How are you willing to delegate and let go of the reins? Okay. This is not the delegating workshop. I'll probably teach that more in depth. This is February. Maybe at the end of the month, we'll do another class and I'll do it just on delegating. So make sure you guys are on the email list. And then we'll probably be releasing Momathon conference details around that same time too. So if you learn to delegate first, you can just slide out all weekend. Yeah. Okay. But anyway, when you're finding your delegating superpowers, it's going to take a few things. And I'll go into that another day. But when you delegate, it takes time, it takes training, it takes trust. Okay. You must be able to teach the people you love about what needs to happen if they don't know. You have to be able to trust them. You have to be able to trust, wow, my family actually does want to support me. Even if you don't believe they want to support you, they do want to see you happier than you are right now. Sometimes we can't believe everything. Sometimes my level of belief isn't there for everything yet, but I can believe my family doesn't want to see me angry and miserable. They don't want to live with that girl. She's cranky. She slams cabinets and complains about why stuff wasn't done when she said it should be done. I don't want to live with her. Therefore, I'm going to go ahead and sweep him off that floor. I'm going to go ahead and help out in whatever ways I might need to help out. Okay. So in what way do you need to tap into your delegating superpowers? In what way do you need to ask for help and support? In what way do you need to slow down and communicate better? In what way will you teach other people so that you can let go of the reins? Okay. Number 4, find your essentials. Okay. We got to find your self-awareness, find your definition of success, find your delegating superpowers. And number 4 is find your essentials. Okay. Momathon as a business has 4 different pillars to it. Okay. We have coaching and consulting. Just coaching is just one pillar by itself. Okay. So we have a group mastermind that's going right now into July, which has been really amazing. I also have one-to-one clients that I meet with every week. Okay. Coaching is one part of Momathon. Another part is that I do speaking and consulting work. Okay, so I'm preparing to do for Hyatt, the Mom Project, some of these other amazing organizations, housing authorities, stuff like that. So I go and do corporate talks on wellness, self-care, productivity, etc. We have the Momathon Conference. That's every October. Okay, and a 4th pillar of Momathon is advocacy work. Where we partner with organizations like Yes Every Kid, Ed Choice, and some others to talk more about maternal health, educational equity, good education for all children. We stand behind that. And I also am a paid ambassador for organizations like that. Okay. So I don't just do it because I love the Lord. Everybody got that? Okay. So we have those 4 pillars: the coaching, the consulting and speaking, the conference, and advocacy work. Those are 4 pillars. I did not wake up in the morning. All my business women grab this. I did not wake up in the morning and decide, I think I'm just going to have 4 different parts to my business. I did not just wake up in the morning and decide, I'm just going to start throwing things at the wall and see what sticks. I did not just wake up and say, you know what? I think I can fit more stuff in here. Let me just throw some more things in here to do. I started with just building this community. The community produced women who wanted to be coached. I got some big goals. I need some help. My mind is all over the place. I'm a little scatterbrained. I need some support. Okay. The coaching and the speaking went together. Because the more I coached and the more I showed up on live, the more people said, hey, can you come and teach that to my community? Hey, can you come and teach that to my organization? Okay. Those two went together. The conference has been around for a minute where we just gather the clients, the community. We just come together once a year. And then because people are seeing the impact of us working together, the advocacy work came into play over the last 2 years. Okay. I did not go and just grab random things and try to hurry up and do all the things at one time. Some of you all have some really incredible ideas. Put fire in the chat if you got some really big ideas. You got some really, really incredible things that you've been working on in your mind. You have some really big things. You're like, you know what? I just believe this could happen. I believe it's for me. I'm cultivating it. I'm working on it. I want to see it come to life. I believe in it. Or I'm working on my belief. Help my unbelief. Where you're working on this stuff, but you know what? Some of us need to take some of these ideas, maybe not all of them. If you got 5 ideas, I need you to take 3 of them and put them on the shelf for now. Put them on the shelf. Put them on the shelf for now. I need you to take 2 of them, put them on the shelf. I could not physically start 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all these different moving pieces all at one time. Some of us need to ask, what are the things on this list that will make the biggest difference in my life right now? Okay, if I were to do this, the biggest difference, this right here will make the biggest difference. These other things are just things that I kind of added on here because I saw it, or I felt inspired by it, or whatever. It wasn't like God called me to this right here. Okay, so we can end up seeing things spill over because we're trying to work on too many things at the same time. What do you need to put on the shelf? I told one of my clients, it was last week or 2 weeks ago. I was like, girl, and it was multiple of them actually. And we talked about it on the Mastermind call last week. I was like, you can cancel half of your February. You don't have to do this, or this. What if we just focus our energy on this right here? I was like, maybe we don't do this particular thing anymore. It didn't yield what you wanted it to yield. Maybe we just focus over here. Remember we talked about how you didn't need that? You went and got it anyway. Now you see, I was right. Right? It's like, you know what? You didn't need that. We get these ideas in our minds. We get glittery object syndrome. We just start grabbing stuff. What do I need to put on the shelf? I don't actually need that. Let's do that analysis, that investigative work. I've been talking a lot about investigative work because I don't live with you. I don't live with you. So I don't know what you do when you lay in the bed at night, you're scrolling on your phone and you're just thinking about how am I going to solve this problem? If you bring it to a coaching call, that's something different. We problem solve together. But when y'all are at home and you're choosing to hover over your laundry pile instead of sending that follow-up email because it scares you, sending that pitch because it feels frightening, all of that, it's a different ball game. Okay. So number 4 is find your essentials. What are the things that matter the most that will get you there fastest? I took a whole 6 to 8 months off of pitching, of like talking about coaching a whole lot, and just worked on my media for like 8 months. And that's how I cranked out 8 Essence features in like a year and a half. Some people just want one. I was like, no. I want to be undebatably the best. So I leaned all the way in on media. It was like Yahoo Lifestyle multiple times, Yahoo, CNN, Essence, Fox News. It was like boom, 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 boom. I wanted people to not be able to debate it. Just go Google me. You don't have to work with me, but when you're ready, I'll still be here because this is my life's work. I leaned into my essentials. What are yours? Okay. And last but not least, because we're nearing an hour. Last but not least, you have to find your new identity. You have to find your new identity. With every new level, with every new step, Every time you go up some, you are going to become a new version of yourself. You're going to become somebody new. The person that your husband married, the mom that you were 5 years ago, 10 years ago, now that you're at the level you are now, even though that's not your stopping level, you're somebody who is astronomically different than you were last year, 5 years ago, 10 years ago. The reason the majority of marriages fail, right, is not just because of the financial component. It's actually because people change and they don't know how to adapt with the changes. I'm not who I used to be. I'm not that person I used to be. How do I cope with that? How do I come to understand now you're someone different? Now you want to become a business owner? Now you want to homeschool the kids? Now you want to go back to work? Now you want to do this, you want to do that? This is not who we said we were going to be. I have one client and I was sharing with her, and I tell all of them this over the course of time. I'm like, when you go to change your goals and then your behavior to achieve these goals, you literally become a whole new person. You become a whole new person. You guys have seen this in the Momathon community. Like, if you've been here for a while, you've been watching for a while. Like, if Marita is still here, she brings her boutique items to the conference. Her first conference, what, 2018, 2019? How much have we grown since then? Completely different atmosphere. Because I, the facilitator, the founder, have grown and changed. So now the content is different, right? The elements, the essentials of the event are different. Everything about it is shifting in a great way, right? But it's growing because I'm growing. I'm becoming somebody different. My family is different. My son the other day, y'all, listen, he was sitting around. He said, Mom, is making $160,000 a year a good salary? I was like, what? Yeah. Yeah, son, it's a good salary. I was like that's like 13% of the world, 20, not even 20%. It was like 15% of the world that makes that much money. I was like, look at this. I was like, yeah. I said, but it's really about what you do with your life, work that you love. And then I was trying to teach him about love, not just like wealth building. Because now they're sitting around reading these financial books and they talk about investments. And I'm like, what? Who are you people? Who are you people? It is stemming from their parents are different than even we were when we started. They'll be different when they go to have kids. Okay, it's this essential, this foundation. Okay, who are you committed to being? Are you okay with growing into somebody new? Are you okay with communicating to your spouse that you're now different? This is a new need that I have now. And I understand that y'all are not used to me needing this, but now I do. This is a different kind of support that I need. And am I willing to commit to becoming the person that achieves these goals? Okay. And the reason I say this is because the majority of us, we have these, we fall in love with the goal, but it's the process, the progress that it's like, yeah, not really a big fan of that going through that. I'm not really a big fan of feeling negative emotions. I'm not really a big fan of having to organize my life. That feels like trash. I'm not really a big fan of having to do things that make me feel uncomfortable. Nah. As opposed to sitting in, I'm willing to become that person. Okay. You literally, and I was telling one of my clients, several of them actually, I'm like, listen, watch for this moment. As a coach, me being steps ahead of you in this area, I want you to watch for this moment when your husband has a busy schedule and now your schedule as a business owner is just as busy as his. Watch for that moment. Watch for the moment where you have to delegate stuff that's always been your job. Watch the feelings that come up when that happens. Okay? Watch for this new identity where you begin to need some new things and you didn't realize you were ever going to require that or need that. Watch for how you need to communicate differently in order to get your mission accomplished. Watch for these moments. Watch for the emotional cycle of change that's in the 12-week year, where it's like a roller coaster ride. Anytime you decide to edit a behavior. And then whenever you have multiple goals, you go on multiple roller coaster rides. All of these things go together. Okay? So find your self-awareness. Okay? Rediscover who you are as a person. What is your body telling you? What are your emotions telling you? I love it. What's your mindset telling you when you blurt stuff out of your mouth? What is that telling you? Are you a believer based off of what you say? What's your self-awareness like? Do you finish what you started? Oh, self-awareness. Are you somebody that quits? And then you get mad at yourself and then you start over. Find your definition of success. Don't go and grab anybody else's. What did we say we want? We said we want to add $3,000 to our income every month. We did not say we need to add 30. There's a big difference. It's a big difference. Find your definition of success, not somebody else's. Find your delegating superpowers. Choose to opt out of being the primary problem solver, the person that does all the things, that fixes all the stuff. Find your essentials. If you had to focus on 3 things through the summer that were a priority just for this spring, for this winter to spring, what would those things be? What would make the biggest difference in your family life if you just focused on those? Okay, you can do that. You can choose to lay all the other things to the side, put them on the shelf. And then, because of all of this, your new identity is also going to find you, where every time you go up a level, you become somebody new. You guys have seen over the course of time, I've become somebody new. That is a result of the work in here, moving up a level and being willing to sit with the ugly parts, problem solving, troubleshooting, communicating with my spouse in a new way, all of that, delegating some of my homeschool stuff, all of this as a result. Okay. Find your self-awareness, your definition of success, your delegating superpowers, your essentials, and your new identity. All right. Okay, guys, that's it for the masterclass. Okay. Who has questions? I'm going to give an invitation to everyone. And I look for your questions in the chat. I'm pretty sure Instagram is going to time me out in a second. So if you're watching on Instagram, feel free to come over and join us on the Momathon Diaries Facebook page, should you so desire. Okay. I am looking for all of the Q&A. I'm going to go ahead and end the Instagram. If you want to come over and join us, you can. Thank you guys so much for being here. Okay. Bye. Stay hold on Facebook. Okay. All right. I'm going to go and check the comments in case anybody presented any questions, because that's what you guys do. All right. Okay. Hello. Hello. Hey, everybody. Hey, everybody. All right. So one of the questions that someone asked was about finding the time management balance. Okay, like how to find the time management balance. I have found that it's easier to balance when you identify your essentials. Okay, it's easier to balance when you find your essentials. So let's say hypothetically during maybe it was 2020 or 2021, I really sat with focusing more on media than anything else. I wanted to be, you know how what was it Muhammad Ali said, the undisputed champion. So now if someone asks me about coaching or they're like, I'm going between coaches, I'm like, feel free to look for a productivity coach who has receipts like mine. You might be looking for a minute, right? Like you just might. But I really spent time focusing in on that as opposed to a lot of other areas. Some other people, they'll go and they'll sit with working on a website for days and days and days and weeks and weeks and weeks and months. I just chose not to do that. For the most part, it was like, oh, hey, I'll meet somebody on the street and they'll come and book a discovery call about coaching. So I was always open to having conversations with people. I was always open to being responsive and collaborative. I've always been open to doing the first things first. I find that we usually end up burned out, overwhelmed, exhausted when we are not leaning in where we should. Okay? When we're not spending more time doing the things that we should be doing, as opposed to doing what's going to bring us the fastest results, the guaranteed result. Okay? All right. So while you guys are thinking of questions, if you do, feel free to just continue leaning in. I have found, and I shared this last year, and I shared this with the ladies who are in our mastermind as well, that here's what I have seen continues to happen. Okay. And it's the reason that I opened up the group program this year. It's the reason why I continue to show up to give value to you all, because I know what it is to go into a burnout cycle. Okay. The burnout cycle looks like this. You get some new knowledge. You get something that is inspirational. You get pumped up and excited. You're ready. Game on. Let's do it. I'm going home from the conference. This happens to everybody. I'm going home from the conference. I'm so ready to become who I'm supposed to become. I'm so excited. I'm so thrilled to really work on this and develop this and all of these amazing ideas. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I get home. Which one of these do I do first? Which one of these is actually the most important for right now? So you get excited, you spring into action. You spring into action. And because you just jumped in to the deep end of the pool, no swim lessons, okay, we usually end up overwhelmed. And when we swim in that overwhelm for long enough, we slide into burnout. Okay, we slide into being burned out. And these are all words that we toss around a lot, but you know what it's like to be sitting in your car and all your kids are loud and they're talking around you. You feel like you can't breathe. And you just start you start trying to shift around and relax your shoulders. Y'all know what I'm talking about? You begin to feel like, okay, just give me 5 minutes. Just give me 5 minutes of no talking. Let me just go sit in my closet for a minute all alone so I can center myself. We begin to feel that overwhelm and we sit and we just wait and we start to produce posts like that viral post. Oh my Lord. The viral post that said, I'm not angry. I'm just overwhelmed. I'm overstimulated. We begin to put that out into the world instead of looking at where is it in my life that I need to pull back? Where is it in my life I need to organize better? Because the way I'm doing it right now is not working. Where is it in my life? What stage of growth am I on? Where now I am creating new problems. Creating new problems. I never had to have this conversation with my husband before. Wow, we're creating new problems. I never had to think about delegating out some of this stuff. But now my business is picking up, or this is happening, or that's happening. I'm creating new problems. This is great. Last year at the conference, and I decided, moving some things around. I'm going to a point with this. I was moving some things around as I planned the conference this year because I said, you know what? There's a restaurant in the hotel. So everyone who was at the hotel at the conference last year, y'all already know this. Like when we broke for lunch, when we took a lunch break, all of a sudden, almost 100 women descend up to the restaurant, and the restaurant was not prepared. I had never had to worry about, right? Oh my gosh, ma'am, we don't have 1,000 wings. They're like upstairs, everybody's just around waiting on their lunch. It delayed the conference, right? Because there were so many people there. Girl, you better create some new problems. Isn't that exciting? And it was frustrating in the moment, but this year I was like, oh, this is how we'll solve this problem instead. We're going to do it differently. Wow, man, thank you, God. Like you just showed me. Wow. But if you're not creating new problems, if you're not experiencing a little bit of overwhelm, how do we begin to stretch your capacity in an incremental fashion? Not in a way that makes you drown, but in a way that says, hey, we got to create some new results. And with new results, with new goals, you create new problems. This is not a bad thing. It's not bad. And we begin to penalize ourselves, shun ourselves. We begin to down ourselves when we come up against issues and challenges. It's like, no, I am now somebody completely different than who I was before. Yeah, you create new problems. Yeah, you have issues now that you didn't have before. This is a completely different season of your life. Y'all hearing me? This is a completely different season of your life. You are not who you used to be. I got 3 teenagers in my house. The conversations I'm having now with my daughter are different than they were 5 years ago. Talking to them about self-control and governing themselves and study, all these things that are different now is different because my season of life is now different. Okay? So now that you guys have your 5 points, you got 5 things you could journal on if that's all you want to do. Okay, if that's all you're like, listen, Christina, I got what I needed. I'm just going to figure out what I can delegate. That's you. No problem. You got your section. Okay, but this is for the women who you slide into the burnout cycle. You get excited. You get pumped up. You listen, I'm ready to take action. I want to do all the things. And because you want to do the things, you end up overdoing, becoming overwhelmed, and that causes you to slip into burnout. And then when you burn out, you don't just take a break. You slip into a period of self-shaming. And I know this to be true because I study us. We take time and we just get frustrated with ourselves, with our life, with our families, because I'm not who I used to be. Why isn't this working? Why isn't this giving what it's supposed to give? What is going on? Why is my husband giving me some resistance as I try to do this? Because sis, you were the primary problem solver in this area for the last 8-10 years. Now you wake up and you decide you want to be this person? Wait a second. This isn't who we agreed we would be. So now we have these changes, these transitions that come up, and it's like, I have to be able to troubleshoot as I do this. Okay, I have to be able to troubleshoot. And so you go through getting excited, going into overaction, doing all the things, overworking, overthinking, over everything. You get motivated, but then you slide into burnout because you're doing too much, not picking the essentials. And then when you end up burned out, you get frustrated with yourself, with your season of life, until something happens and you get motivated again. But because you haven't solved the intangibles, the in-between things, you just go around in the burnout cycle again and again and again. Okay. And so I believe as a coach that there's an alternative to that capacity, instead of it just being something that you're given. Like all of us have a certain amount of capacity in our minds and our lives. I believe that capacity is built. Okay. I believe that little by little, in incremental fashions, we can stretch your capacity in a percentage fashion. Okay. Where every single week, every single month, you get a little bit more of a load to carry that causes you to all of a sudden say, oh, I can handle that, no problem. So just like Momathon started out as a blog, and now it's like, oh, we do conferences, 8 going into year 9 of the conference, and all this stuff, all these moving pieces that y'all see, media and all this stuff. I had to stretch out my capacity for that. I had to build into the capacity in order to make sure that it could actually happen. I could finish when I started. I had to be able to finish what I started. Okay. So it's more than just starting something. It's more than just jumping into the pool. Some of us jump in on the deep end, knowing you can't swim like that, or knowing that it's not a strength of yours yet. Maybe we don't overaction. Maybe we decide that we're going to work on our capacity, our goals, our big things in an incremental fashion. Okay. And so this invitation is to the brilliant mamas, the audacious ones who are like, Christina, I can see it. I see it in my mind. I know it's possible. I see myself here, but there's some stuff internally. There's some stuff here that's keeping me from moving to that next place. Christina, I dream about it. I know that where I am right now, it could go here. I know that I could build something bigger. I know God is calling me to this. But when I wake up from this dream to go and enact and do it in the real world, there's some walls that are keeping me from moving forward. There's some places in my life where I'm like, listen, you know what? This feels like it's very frustrating for me right now that I keep trying, I keep working on new ideas, and for some reason, it's not giving what it's supposed to give. What's broken here? What's not working? Okay? And so I've seen how we come to the conference and we go through the cycle. That's the reason I opened the mastermind, right? Was for the women who are like, you know what? I know this is my normal cycle. I know I do this. I get excited. I do too much. I get burned out. Okay. And then I just wait to get motivated again. I continue in the same cycle. So multiple things in my life get half done. They don't get all the way done. And so for those of you who know that you're like, okay, Christina, I need extra support. I need to be able to maneuver this season of my life. I have all the layers that you're talking about. I'm trying to practice better wellness for myself. Self-care, some of our clients have chronic illnesses. Some of them have mental wellness challenges where they have to take care of themselves. If they don't, they go down. Talking about weeks. You see what I'm saying? Some of us got some different situations. I got to take care of myself. Some of them are single moms. Mary, I got to take care of myself. I can't not do it. My body's going to tell on me. My mind is going to tell on me if I'm not practicing that level of self-care. They have the layers of being a wife, right? Where they want to be present and hot and amazing and love their husbands and love their seasons. And they want to be present for their children. And they have these amazing career and business goals. And they have media goals. And they want to learn how to pitch. And they want to make a big deal out of their work. But it's all of these layers that they see and they know need to happen. And sometimes bringing it all together, just like Iron Man with the invisible glass and he's moving all the pieces around. You know what I'm talking about? That's the magic that we have to be able to do in order to execute well on our goals. Okay. So this is February. We're like midway into February now. Maybe your vision board has been put away for a couple weeks. Maybe you are like, okay, Christina, I see I'm picking up what you're putting out, understand what you're saying. And I know that I need a different kind of strategic planning. I know I have way too much going on in my life for me to just take a journaling class, not knocking it, to just read the book, the 12-week year, and it's all going to fall in line. It's not identifying all the things that I need to identify. It's not telling about the intersection of all of these invisible things. Taking care of me, taking care of hubby, taking care of the kids, managing the house well, managing my business well, managing my mental health. All of these layers of things that have to get moved around to work, to make it all work, to find my own flow. I can't read that in a book. It didn't pop out. I might need to talk through this. I might need to create the actionable steps. I might need to work my own plan. I might need to come up with a whole different strategy, because the strategy that I'm looking at, this person is single, no kids. Or this person, even if you read 12-week year, these are men, right? Women, we carry a whole different mental load than our husbands do. I have multiple clients who are pastors' wives because they wanted a coach that understood what it was like to walk with their spouse in ministry. I have multiple clients who are homeschooling mothers because they want someone that values that type of education or just putting kids first. I have multiple clients who are business owners because, Christina, I'm trying to figure out how you did that right there. Will you teach me? I have multiple clients who are mental health professionals, therapists, psychiatrists, counselors, right? In a world where we are battling between life coaching versus therapy and all of this stuff, I got therapist clients who are like, I know that these are two different models. These are two different activations that we're bringing together, and it works so good. Okay. And so if you're an amazing mom with a voice that needs to be heard, if you know you need to bring together all of these crazy moving pieces, you're like, Christina, this is a lot. I feel like it's so much. Bring it here to this space because it's all we do here. This is literally all we do is help superstar moms to organize their busy worlds so you can show up more rested, more consistent. So you earn more, you get more opportunities, you get more yeses because now you know how to position yourself. It's not just about getting your kids to clean the house. That's a part of it. It's not just about, having more fun with your husband. Okay. It's about that too. That's another bonus. It's not just about you feeling like yourself, right? Like I could have dressed up for this class. This is who I am, right? It's not just about all of these other moving pieces. It's about there is something so big I'm supposed to do in the world, but I can't even get to it because I'm micromanaging all this other stuff here. I want to go to this place, but I can't even fathom how that's going to work because right here, I'm overwhelmed on this current level. How do I pitch myself? I don't even know what to say. I don't even know what to do to go to the next place. I don't even know how to get in contact. I don't even know how to do this. And we spend the majority of our time on our calls. Listen, once you've organized what's going on in here and what's going on in here, everything else takes off like a rocket. Everything else takes off like a rocket. Mark my words. And so my clients are securing corporate contracts. They're getting sponsorships. They're getting paid ambassador opportunities. They're working with organizations and companies and brands on a paid fashion. They're letting their businesses work with government powerhouses. All of these things are happening. They're booking TV spots. They're running for office and winning because their capacity is stretched. They're like, you know what? I got space for this now. I have space for this now because I worked on what's happening in here and what's happening in here. Okay. And so if you feel like I'm talking to you, if you feel like this is where you need to be, I want to invite you to message me. Okay. Whether you're watching on LinkedIn or on Facebook, wherever you guys are watching, if you are an audacious mama and you're like, Christina, I know I'm ready for the next. I'm just trying to sort through some things. I'm trying to figure out the how. I know I see something on the other side, but the disconnect, like this, where I am now and where I want to go feels really far. I'm not sure how to bring it together. Then listen, I'm your person. I'm your coach. You can easily grab from the 5 things that we talked about today, run with it. But for those of us who know they want more support, okay, they know they're like, all right, Christina, I'm trying to go all the way in. Okay, then this invitation is for you. Feel free to reach out to me in Messenger. I want to say somewhere in some of the captions, I'll go back and put it in as well. As a discovery call link. You can go to Christina Garrett on Facebook. There's a link there. That's the pinned post. It's just an invitation for you to come to a consultation, for you to come to a coffee chat with me, for you to bring your ideas, your dreams, your aspirations, your goals to a safe space. So a safe space. You ain't going to see it pop up again next week, right? Like, oh, I got a book idea. Here comes my book idea. Nope, safe space. Okay. For the most part, I don't even identify publicly who my clients are. Yep. Because I work with women who are political officials and they want to know that as they work through their motherhood drama and I'm all over the place in my mind, when I go to stand up in front of my community, I don't want that out there. So I just if they want to say I'm their coach, I let them do that. If they don't want to do it, then it's private as well. Okay. So I don't have a whole bunch of like, oh, this person, that person, this person, unless they say so and they give me permission to share. I keep my clients' information, identities at the highest level of discretion. Okay. Because I work with a lot of women who work on the next level, the next phase, the next stage. And they're like, okay, I just want to be able to grow and I feel like my business is all out there. No one really wants the people who are the source, the people who are the ones who give the knowledge, and they're the ones that set the pace. They're the therapist for others. They're the counselor for others. They're the in ministry for others. All of these things. They want to be able to have some place where they can come to and have a safe space. Some of the best women, some of the best brand bosses. I've talked to one of them online. She said, me and my husband don't even sleep in the same bed at night. But we show up in public like we are good. I was like, what? Like, I refuse to let my family go down in flames for any goal. So we got to learn how to grow it, how to produce it, how to find the essentials, how to do the things that matter the most, how to do what matters the most without abandoning the people that we say we love the most, without moving away from what we said was important. We got to make sure that we're doing that. Okay, we got to make sure that we're leaning into those places so that we show up strong for the people we care about. At the end of the day, that's what's going in the eulogy. That's what's going in there. And so because of that, I want to make sure I handle my foundation first. Then after I've organized myself, my family, I'm getting the support I need, I'm communicating well, baby, the sky is the limit. We can do all that stuff. Oh, you want to be on TV? Okay, we can do that. Oh, you want to work with that company? We can do that. Oh, you want to find organizations to partner with? We can do that too. Because your capacity is strengthened. Okay, so that's enough for today. You have your call to action. All you need to do, you don't have to feel embarrassed. You don't have to feel like, Christina, I don't know what to say, any of that stuff. Just bring your ideas, bring your concerns, bring your challenges to the consultation, okay? So just DM me coffee chat. Okay, DM me coffee chat and we'll talk about the coaching options that I have available for you. We have 3 months, we have 6 months. Okay, the mastermind is going to happen again, but not until next year. Okay, it's going to happen again, but not till next year. I told y'all, I said it, I'm going to keep my word. I'm going to coach these ladies through to the summer. And then after that, we'll begin to talk more about the one coming next year. But it's only February. So if you got some big goals for this year you want to tackle, then I want you guys to go ahead and bring that in so that we can work on those. Okay. All right. So DM me coffee chat. After this is over, nobody's going to know who you are. No one needs to know that I'm having these marriage challenges. No one needs to know that I said in public, my business is doing so good. Girl, I'm making $17. You don't have to worry about any of these things. Just bring your concerns here, okay, so that we can help you to create a path to bring you what you really want, okay? I look forward to hearing from you. I look forward to hearing about your story. And just, really ironing out the how to. And I'm going to add this last little bit. I told all the ladies who are in the mastermind this year, I was like, everybody who comes here, I want you to be thinking about what aspect of this am I going to use to make sure my investment is guaranteed. Okay. So Christina, invested in coaching over the last year. I quadrupled what I invested in my coaching because of the knowledge that I received. Okay. I earned back the investment I did alone from paid partnerships and sponsorships and relationships with nonprofits. Okay. I want all of us thinking in that way. I'm coming in, I'm moving in. I'm going to identify these things that are not serving me. And then I'm instantly going to go to, how am I going to get my results guaranteed? How am I going to get my results guaranteed? If I teach you public relations, good publicists are $4,000 to $5,000 a month. If you learn how to do it yourself, that's for the win. How much is it for you to get your cleaning service to come in every single month? I'm planning on having mine come in while I'm on vacation this month. She's going to come in and get my life together, okay, while I'm gone. Okay. But in between those times, what am I saving because I delegate to my children? And they do an amazing job of helping to support the family too. Okay. So I want you guys just to be thinking about, as you think on, am I in the position? Should I, come to the consultation? I ain't going to try to oversell you nothing. I'm not going to try and any of the things. The question is, what do you want to create? And can we work together to get there faster? Can we work together to get there faster? Where I'm automatically identifying the fastest ways for me to get to my personal goals, my family goals, my business goals, my career goals. What shots can I take? How can I work my pitch better to make sure that every time we send it out, we get an answer back? Instead of sending out something, sending a pitch for something, and you just get crickets. What would that look like for you? Because here in the space, that's what we do here. Okay. We help you to get out of your own way, to organize your life, to delegate some things so you have space to use your big voice to take up room in the world. Okay. So that's it for today. I'm excited to connect with you guys in Messenger. DM me coffee chat and let's hop on a call together. I will be traveling next week, but I have a little space this week and I will also the week after, but first come, first serve. So let's go ahead and hop on a call. Let's just paint a picture of what you want, where you're going, okay, so that we can create a strategic plan to help you get there, okay? That's it, everybody. I love y'all. I have a little self-care plan today, remnants of my birthday gift, and then I'll be teaching my mastermind tonight. So I got to go. All right. I love y'all so much. I hope you feel my love echoing, reverberating to you. And I just thank you guys for showing up today. Take those 5 steps, run with them. And then as you know you need more support, I want you to hop in my DMs and let's make some magic happen. Okay. All right. I love you guys and I'll see you next time.